environment.
Amen.
I say this all the time, but when people start complaining about the weather, it was cold yesterday, and it's hot again, and it's cold again. And I say, did you just move to New Jersey? How long you been living here? Do you not understand the environment that you're in? You're not in the South. You are here in the Northeast. Yes, it snows here. Yes, it rains here. Yes, it gets cold. Yes, it gets hot. If you don't like it, pick your stuff up.
Amen.
And move.
That's it.
Amen.
Just that simple. Amen.
You want somebody in California, every time I look around, it's an earthquake. I'm sick and tired of all these. This don't make no sense. Then get up.
Change your environment. Amen.
And move. So we are a product of our environment. And Richard, jump to my next point. Thank you.
Amen.
Because if you are a product in your environment, I've stopped by to tell you that you have the power to change your environment.
Amen.
Many people feel like they don't have the power to change their environment. One thing I've learned, and one thing about me in my 30, I keep saying 37 short. I'm going to say short after every number. But in the 37 short years, I've learned that is, if you don't like someone, don't waste your time being around someone you don't like.
Amen.
If I can really break it down even more, don't be somewhere you don't want to be.
Amen.
Amen.
She invited me to her house for dinner, but I can't stay there. Then don't go eating her food.
Amen.
Sit up in her food, eating up her stuff that she paid for, that house that she paid for.
Amen.
Sometimes you've got to be very careful and understand that I have the power to change my environment. We are not helpless.
Amen.
If you don't like your environment, you've got to first understand that I have the power to change my location, to change where I am. Sometimes I found out things are not going to get better where you are. You just got to go somewhere else.
Amen.
Amen. Yes. Amen.
You can go outside in the snow and say, Lord, stop the snow with no coat. Lord, warm it up in Jesus' name. Lord, send the sun out. Lord, you made the sun stand still for Joshua. I know you can make it stand still for me. Lord, warm this weather. Or you can go inside and get it.
Yes, that's right.
Amen.
So you've got to understand that some environments are not going to change. I found out a desert is simply a desert. A desert is a desert is a desert. The safari is the safari. It's simply the safari is the safari. In other words, there's some unhappy people that's just unhappy people. And the best you can do is get away from that unhappy person. There's some miserable folks that's just miserable. The best thing you can do is get out of that environment.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
I have the power to change my environment.
Amen.
Well, let me get a little scientifical on you.
Go ahead, Pastor.
Just a little bit. There's a great debate going on. Former Vice President Al Gore made it one of his things that he stood on and even made a movie about it. I believe it was about 15 or 16 years ago.
Right.
But there is something called global warming.
Amen.
Don't y'all tip out. Don't y'all leave now.
Right.
But there's something called global warming. In our polars, in the North Pole and the South Pole, the ice-only glaciers are starting to melt, which is now affecting our weather pattern. Why are they melting? They are melting because of the carbon emissions that we are sending up into the air. In other words, what point am I making? If we really look at it, some environments are created by the people in them.
Amen.
Yeah.
Ooh, I said to move to a happy environment. But if you have a happy environment and bring some unhappy people in it, guess what just happened? Your happy environment is no longer happy. It's now an unhappy environment.
Amen.
Amen.
I know we've all heard the saying, you can take the people out of the hood.
Amen.
Uh-oh, y'all don't know the rest. But sometimes you can't take the hood
Out of the people. Amen.
out of the people. Don't y'all get too offended because I just said that one. But sometimes it is all in your mind.
Yes, it is. Amen.
People can mess up an environment.
times.
And I tell somebody, if it's loud everywhere that you go, maybe you're the one that's loud. If it's confusion everywhere you go, maybe you're the one that's causing confusion.
Amen.
People can change environments. So my next point is, not only do you have to realize you have the power to lead your environment, but you have to be careful who you let in your environment.
All right. Amen. Amen.
Your surroundings can change dramatically. I like a peaceful environment, but it takes just one person. It takes just a little bit to take away from a peaceful environment. You've got to be very careful. I tell folks, you don't let folks attack your body. Many of us won't even let them attack your character, but you let folks attack your peace.
Amen. Jesus, my Lord.
That's a valuable thing. Don't
Yes,
you
it
know
is.
that there are people with billions and billions of dollars that don't have peace?
Don't have peace.
That's right.
Peace is more valuable than money.
Oh, yeah.
There are folks jumping off bridges that are billionaires and millionaires because they don't have peace. You have a commodity more valuable than anything, and you're going to let somebody steal it from you.
Jesus. Oh, Lord.
So you've got to be very careful about allowing people to change your environment.
Amen. Amen.
I learned one thing, and you call it what it wants. When I'm in someone else's house, I have to go by what their environment is.
Amen.
If they like it hot in there, it's got to be hot in there. If they like it cold in there, it's got to be cold. But I'm just telling you in advance, when you come to Allentown at Jerome Thomas Howe's house,
Amen. Amen.
if I like it hot, guess what it's going to be? It's going to be hot because I choose the environment that I am in.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Don't let somebody else give someone else the power to control your environment.
My Lord.
Hallelujah.
It's the same thing about being around complaining people.
Yes.
So I asked the daughter, you want to go? I didn't say I really did this, but suppose I said, daughter, you want to go to movies with me? And we go to the movie. What you want to see? I don't know. Ain't nothing good out. Well, didn't you just say earlier? I don't know. I don't want to see. I guess I'll go see this movie. All right, let's go see it today. Then we go see it. What they doing over there? This is the worst movie I ever seen. Well, wait a minute.
Jesus.
If you really didn't want to go,
Amen. Don't go.
if I can break it down, I've learned just because you having a bad day don't mean everybody else around you got to be having one too.
Preach. Tell it like it is.
Just because your day's bad, no, I don't feel sorry for you. I will pray with you, but I don't feel sorry for you. But don't mean I got to go with you too.
All right. Amen. Amen.
It's not the Titanic. If the ship is going down, don't mean I got to go down too. I've got to save myself. If I can make my next to last final point, sometimes you've got to do what it takes to save yourself.
Amen. Amen.
Because
Hallelujah.
if you're in danger, guess what? Everybody dies an individual death.
Amen. Jesus.
Sometimes you've got to do what it takes to save yourself. I can't save everybody else if I can first save myself.
Amen. Amen.
So we talked about first you've got to watch your environment. You've got to realize that you have the power to change your environment. You've got to be careful who you keep in your environment, who you keep around your environment.
Amen. Amen.
Yes, yes.
So you got to realize when to change your environments. But my last point now is, I told you I wasn't going to be long in the presence of the Lord. You've got to be careful not to stay in the same environment for too long.
Amen. All right.
Amen.
Some environments you are not meant to be in long time.
Yeah.
Amen.
Some environments are just meant for short short term, and some are meant for the long term. If I can bless somebody with this, you've got to know the difference between a short-term environment and a long-term environment.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Cars are nice.
Yes.
Go where you have to go. You have a nice car. Cars are a nice thing. You get up, you go, drive here and there.
Yes.
Even though people do it, but cars are not meant to be your place of living.
Amen.
That's not what it was meant for. I'm just telling you the truth.
Amen.
I know seriously people have had to do it. It's a very serious thing. But it's not, that's a miserable thing. I don't care how. You can be in a Mercedes-Benz. But if you just got those two seats, you can't take no shower nowhere, you can't hardly, that's a horrible thing. Because you were not meant to stay there.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I've been on airplanes. I've been on nice ones, and I've been on some horrible ones. I've been in first class, and I've been next to the bathroom. I've been in all kinds of seats. But I'm telling you right now, I don't care how nice it is. I don't ever want to live there.
Amen.
All right. Amen.
So we've got to realize some places are not meant for you to stay there. You've got to learn the difference between transition and being permanent. In order for me to get where I need to go, I need to move from one place to another. As I move from one place to another, I change environments. But I've got to know where my starting point is, what my transition and moving point is, and what my destination is. And some of us get it mixed up. You have three categories of people. You have, as I close, help me close, darling. Y'all didn't help me close. I've been on 3 or 4 of them now. And you got 3 different categories of people. You've got the first category of people that always stay in the same place. If you meet them in 1972, 1992, 2012, 2018, January, February, March, or December, they are always in the same place. Time is passing them by, but they're in the same place. The world is still spinning around, but they refuse to move from where they are. It's a very scary thing to be one of those people who stays in the same place. They could be hurt, but they refuse to move. They could be broken, disgusted, but they refuse to move because they stay in the same place. That's the first kind of person. But then you got the next kind of person that's a little worse. You got somebody that's always moving. Every time you look around, they never settle down anywhere. Their feet is always going somewhere, but they're going fast but going nowhere. They're in the car with no destination, always traveling somewhere, always about to do something, always about to get better, always about to get joy, always about to get happiness, always about to get something, always on the verge of something, but it seems to never happen. I don't want to be one of those people that's about to have my change, but the change never comes. About to have my breakthrough, but the breakthrough never comes. You got some people that live in transition, but as I close in the presence of the Lord, you have the third kind of person that knows where to start, where to move, and where to stay. In other words, they know when it's time to move from the place they got to go. They know the road they need to take, but they don't take that road forever. They know when to get off the highway and say, I made it to my destination. I finally made it to where I need to be. Lord, let me be one of those people that knows how to move, that knows how to stop, that knows how to realize where I am now. Lord, help me as I'm closing.
Amen.
Jesus.
Change my environment.
Yes, Lord.
One thing I found out about environments, about where you are, even if they're messed up, you let somebody mess up your environment, it's not too late to change it back. Not too late to change it back. You've been in the same place. It's not too late to leave now.
Amen.
I found out one thing about time is it's relative. What does that mean? If I'm standing in California and I'm talking to someone on the phone, we understand that that's pretty much a real-time conversation. Right?
Yes.
We do understand that. So if I say lift your hand now, they're going to lift their hand now.
Amen.
I may look at my watch and it may measure the time differently.
Amen.
My watch may say 10 a.m.
Yes.
And it may say 7 a.m. for them.
Amen. That's right.
I didn't go back in time. I didn't move forward in time. It was measured differently.
Amen.
So it's all relative to where you start.
Amen.
Baking a cake doesn't take from 2 to 3 o'clock. That's the crazy. Have you ever gotten cake baking instructions that say to bake this cake, place in the oven at 3:15 and take out at 4:15? Stir at 3:20 and stop stirring at 3:40.
Amen.
Why? Because they don't know when you're starting. All they can tell you is, I hear God now. Yes. All they can tell you is how long it will take. In other words, it's never too late to start now.
All right. Amen. Amen.
Don't you ever feel that it's too late to start. It's just how long it would take. They say there's only 24 hours in the day, but guess what happened? The day doesn't just stop. Another one starts. And then another one starts. And then another one starts.
Yes.
But if I really wanted to break it down, if the day is ending here, but in China, the sun is just rising. It's just sitting somewhere in Australia.
Yes, Lord.
Amen.
Time is different for everyone, but I got to have a starting point. Amen. It is never too late to start. The worst thing you can be is with somebody wishing they had started.
Amen.
Jesus.
Don't you ever be one of those people living your life in regret, wishing I started, wishing I did. Oh, it's too late now. Oh, it don't make any sense now. It's not too late. This is going to sound great. It ain't too late until it is.
Amen.
So if I've been upset and I've been depressed, whatever it is, change your environment. Let's all stand. We're closing in the presence of the Lord. Change your environment.